All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Today we're going to take a look at personnel does not mean front, structure does not mean front. I'm just going to show you how we could play some various fronts with using the same personnel. And one of the reasons I'm doing it is because I got a question yesterday or the day before about even fronts and odd fronts and over fronts and under fronts. And I think sometimes, especially younger coaches, newer coaches, I know at least for me when I was younger, I think sometimes you tie the front to certain structures and you kind of don't realize that a front can be played, whether it's effective or not is a different story, but a front can be played from almost any personnel grouping. All right, make sure you check out some of our partners, GameStrat sideline replay system we use at Bishop Kenny High School. I've used them for the last 5 or 6 years. If you're looking for highly affordable, highly reliable, great customer service, check out GameStrat. Dome Headwear, which is the headwear company we use for our hats with Bishop Kenny High School. Play Fast Football. I've used them for the last almost 10 years. All right, personal friend of mine, somebody who I coached against way back in 1999 or 2000. So you never know where the world's going to lead. So things come around full circle. So completely customizable. They have a unique online hat builder where you can design, generate your own hat, your own logo, your own embroidery, snapback fitted, Velcro, different enclosures in the back. If you're looking for custom, you want Dome hats. Baker Sporting Goods Company we use for our coaches' gear, players' gear, sideline gear, spirit packs. Our uniforms are distributed through Baker Sporting Goods, fan stores, and items. Teachers get items from there. So one-stop shop for everything you need. Check out Baker Sports. JustPlay, which is the playbook software we use. We use it for a lot of our installs. We use it for our team meetings. We use it for offense meetings, defense, special teams meetings. I use it for my Patreon site. I also use it anytime I'm going to speak at clinics. It's the best play drawing tool on the market. And DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. Thousands of reps without needing a partner. Set them up right on the racks in your weight room. Perfect for in-season, off-season. You don't have to teach people how to hold a bag. You don't need somebody else to hold a bag. You, the ultimate striking machine. You want to be violent, you got to practice violent, all right? If you go to their website, DifferenceUSA.com, get on their website. If you talk to anybody, tell them you saw it on Coach Mac's Play Fast videos, all right? Make sure you check them out. Great product. So I got a comment in one of my videos yesterday, I think, and somebody saying, hey, Coach, can you describe even front, over front, under front, and I gave a base description of what I thought it was, but a lot of times I think young coaches, we get confused with structures and personnel groupings and fronts, and really any structure, any personnel grouping could play any front that you want it to play, right? Whether or not it's effective based on the personnel that you have is a little bit different story. All right, so what I've got drawn up is our 3-3-5 personnel grouping. So this is our 3-3-5 personnel grouping, and the first thing I've got drawn up is our tight front, right? So our tight front is when we are playing 4 eyes with the ends. All right, we are playing head up with the nose, our Will and our Mike, and I've got Pro. Pro is the easiest. I know it's probably the least, or one of the formations we don't see as much anymore, but it's the easiest to explain fronts in. So I've got 2 back 21 personnel Pro drawn up. We would have our Sam to the 2 receiver side, tight end side. Okay, we would play quarters here. We would play one of our single side menus here, but today the coverage is not the talk today. A lot of times the coverage needs to be tied to the front, and that's a talk for a different day. Today is just talking about fronts. So 4-eye, head up nose, Sam to the tight end side as your D-gap force player, Mike and Will in the box. All right, that is what we would call our tight front. Now, if we wanted to go to mid-front for us, what we would do is we would take our Mike, and our Mike would become the edge rusher to the weak side away from the Sam. So when you're playing mid-front, mid usually means tight front, 4th rusher away from the Sam off the edge, usually a jack, or depending on what the personnel is, your best pass rusher, your most disruptive guy, right? The reason tight fronts would do it is because C-gaps are compromised. Now if we're getting teams that are going formation into the boundary of the sideline, and we're trying to put our nickel or our star or our Sam to match the formation, we need a way to protect that C-gap to the field, so that gives us body presence in the C-gap to the field if teams were going formation into the boundary, right? FSL. All right, a couple different ways. A lot of people have said, or I've at least studied some different ways. Mint, where it came from, it was tight front in mini personnel, so nickel personnel, or however you did. To me, the definition of it, I know what mint front looks like. I know why teams are trying to play it. To me, I like to study where things came from, the history of where it came from, but I've read 4 different things on it. So one of the things was tight front in mini personnel, mint. Wherever it came from, I use the term because that's how I learned it. Okay, so if we went from mint to bear for us, all right, with this personnel grouping, now the 4 eyes would become 3s, minor adjustment, okay? So now the 4 eyes would become 3s, all right? The Sam would be on the ball, off the edge. The Mike would be on the weak side, off the edge. We would take one of our safeties and line them up as a C-gap player on the tight end, 7 technique, however you want to look at it. Our middle safety would come down to be in the box, and then the safety away from the tight end would rotate to play the middle of the field, whether we're playing 3 deep, 3 under, 3 deep, man free, whatever we're doing out of it. Okay, so bear for me, my terminology, yes, it's double eagle, but it's double eagle with a vice on the tight end. So it's the Chicago Bear stuff, the Buddy Ryan stuff. That's how I describe bear. So within the same personnel grouping, the Mike stays weak side, because that's where he goes in mint. Sam goes up, strong side off the edge. Safety to the tight end side. If you were playing with strength, that would be however you declare your strong safety, free safety, whatever it may be. That safety to the tight end side is the 7 technique or the man player on the tight end. Okay, now our middle safety goes in the box to create that, all right, kind of 6-2 box look, however you want to think about it, okay? And then our other safety would go to the middle of the field, right? So that is tight, mint, bear, okay? Last year for us, when we played straight Okie, this is how we played it, all right? So when we played straight Okie last year, what I call Okie, and again, I don't get wrapped up in all the definitions of things because as long as everybody knows what you're talking about, the definitions are kind of irrelevant to me because everywhere in the country you go, somebody calls it something different. And the only confusion is when somebody calls something different and you're talking about the same thing and you're arguing about it when it's just your terms that are different. And unfortunately in football there are no universal terms. Everything is different. I shouldn't say there are no universal terms, but there's really no one language that everybody speaks. So Okie for me is all head up odd techniques. So head up on the center, head up on the tackle, and that can even be different for some people. That's a 4, it's whatever the technique is. Again, irrelevant to me. Mike and the Will in the box, Sam linebacker just like he is in our normal tight front stuff. But now for us what we did last year was we took the middle safety and we played him as the jack or the outside linebacker weak. And then we left our normal 2 high structure behind it there. So Okie for us is head up, all right? So that old school odd coming from Bud Wilkinson, Oklahoma, however you want to look at the history of football or study it. Okie to me is that head up odd front, all right, where it's a 3-2 box, okay? Head up odd front, head up nose, head up tackles with your ends. Stemming from Okie for us would also be the stack front, all right, which to me the stack front is more the deployment. It's Okie front for us, but now we're going to go to that 3-3 stack look, and our middle safety would then be the apex player replacing the Sam, right? So our middle safety for us, hybrid player, has to move around. It's got to be somebody that can do some different things. All right, so now we could get same Okie front for the lineman, but now we get stacked, and instead of a 3-2 box, now we go to a 3-3 box, right? Over for us involves our Mike linebacker. So our Mike linebacker, and when we pick our personnel in the 3-3-5, our Mike is not part of our coverages in our 3 high structure. So our Mike is really the bigger plugging linebacker that we think can also play D-line for us. If he's explosive as a pass rusher, would be great. Doesn't have to be, but he's the 4th guy down for us when we don't change personnel. So over for us would be bringing the Mike down to the tight end side, okay? Playing the end down into 3 tech, playing the nose now into 2 eye, and playing the anchor weak side, okay? And then possibly having to drop the middle safety down in the box. We played it from 3 high last year, not exactly over front, some different things, but so the over front is now the 3 technique to the 3-man surface, right? What you normally equate with even front teams, 4-3 teams, 4-2-5 teams, that over front, 3 technique to the 3-man surface, all right? A shade or 2 eye. When we play over, we play 2 eye away from the tight end, okay? So that's what we would consider over, all right? And for us then, under, for us, would mean our Mike has to go to the weak side, so we're always going to put our Mike as a 4th, which, away from the side we're moving to front. So for us, under would involve putting the nose in the shade to the tight end, the 5 technique to the tight end, the 3 technique, or our weak side end goes to the 3, the Mike comes up and he plays the weak side 5 technique, that in a 3-4, that outside backer, that jack, that rush, whoever you call him out there, that is what he would probably do. He would walk up and be the 4th rusher. Now when you're an underfront team, the 3 technique, if you had a 3 technique to set him there, fine. If not, it's where you put the 3, where is the B-gap bubble. So underfront teams, the B-gap bubble is to the tight end. Overfront teams, the B-gap bubble is usually away from the tight end. Right? So a lot of times in underfronts you'll see the Sam walked up there. But again, the idea of the video is to let you know that it may not be as effective as you want. Different body types and different skill sets should be required to play different positions. That's where the structure of things really comes into play. When you start thinking about 4-3, 4-3, 4-2-5, 3-4, 3-3, it's the body types that you're playing and what is their ability, what is their skill set, what things can they get done, right? So if I wanted to change fronts, yes, changing personnel to get to 4 down is a better deal. Well, if the offenses are all tempo deals and they're not changing, it's going to be very hard for me to do that. If I'm an odd front team in high school because I don't have enough D linemen, maybe I don't want to play a 4th defensive lineman. Okay, maybe my 4th defensive lineman is one of my best offensive linemen in my starting 5 and I don't want to risk injury or I don't want to burn him out or fatigue him because now he can't be effective on offense, right? So for us, we have to find ways to be multiple within our 3-3-5 structure. How do we do it? The 2 key positions for us, the Mike's got to be a guy that can move, and he's got to be able to play down as a 4th, and he's got to be able to play linebacker, and our middle safety has to be a guy that can play high in our 3 high stuff and match 3 vertical, but he's also got to be a guy that can possibly play down in the box when we want to go back to normal 2 high split field and either 4 down or some of our over-under fronts, however we want to play it. Our Mike becomes the 4th, our middle safety becomes the Mike, right? So we have the ability to do that. Our middle safety is really more of a Sam linebacker, potentially a Will linebacker in college. He's about 6'1", 200 pounds, probably a 4'6'5" kid. Can cover, physical, can tackle, had a great season for us last year, comes back next year. So we'll be doing a lot of things with him. We'll be doing a lot of things with the Mike. That's how we try to be multiple. Again, if you were doing this in a matchup world, when I went to over or under, I would probably bring in maybe definitely an over a 4th D lineman. All right, or if I was an under, maybe I'd bring in another linebacker and get a safety out. For us, we bring our middle safety down in our Okie 3-4 looks, and he's the outside backer weak. Why? Because he's 6'1", 200 pounds. He can do those things. So for us, it's all about getting multiplicity with the same personnel on the field because I don't think we have the chance to match groups as much. A, we don't have as many players in depth-wise. B, the offenses now are playing at tempos that you can't match. So we want to be multiple with the personnel on the field. The idea behind today's video, though, is don't tie fronts to personnels or structures. Any structure, any personnel can line up in any front when you're IDing fronts as an offensive coach and you're looking at different fronts. Anybody can play any front. How effective that is based on the body types is a different story, but let's not label the front to the personnel or the structure. I can get from my 3-3-5 personnel grouping, all right, again, effectiveness, I don't know. I can get into almost any front you want to name, and I think everybody else can too. If you're an even team, can you go odd, and is an end the guy that can be a 4th linebacker? Maybe not, so it's probably a personnel change. But don't get confused out there with fronts and personnels and structures. Any front can be played by any team in any personnel grouping. I hope this video helps. It was just kind of came to my mind yesterday or last night when I was thinking about doing a video, and it was a question that got asked me about, hey coach, can you tell me what over is, what under is? So had the idea, thought I would do the video. I hope it helps. Remember to click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Turn your notifications on so you know every time we do a video or every time we go on YouTube Live. Ring that bell on your notifications. Turn them on. All right, thumbs up, thumbs down if you like the content or you don't like the content. Interaction is good. Leave me a comment just like this video. Sometimes videos come from comments and questions or even sometimes things that viewers bring up that are good points that I want to address because maybe it's something that I learned from a comment. So I learn, I grow as much as everybody else doing my own videos, interacting with PlayFast subscribers. So thank you so much for the interaction. Thank you for following along. Hope your off season's going well. I hope everybody's healthy. I am a little bit under the weather with a head cold right now, and that is why you hear some of the sniffling. Another comment a guy said yesterday was, I love the big, sounded like a snort at the beginning of the video. That's because my nose is running, and before I got up to the board, I wanted to kind of get rid of all that so I wouldn't have to wipe my nose the whole time. But I've got a runny nose, got a head cold. So I appreciate everybody, got a laugh out of it because at the beginning of the video there was a big sniffle. So I got a kick out of it. So leave those comments. Let me know how you feel. Hope everything's going great. Enjoy your off season, enjoy your clinic time, enjoy spring ball, everything else you got going on. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. I will see you guys next time.